Movie buffs, welcome back to the Movie Bay. This is D. In today's video, we're going to do another series, Director's Spotlight. And in this first episode, the spotlight is going to go on no other than Steven Spielberg. I thought it was appropriate to start Director's Spotlight with the legendary, the man, the myth, the legend, Steven Spielberg. So we're going to dive in and take a look at 10 great movies from Steven Spielberg. It's hard not to find anything good from Steven Spielberg, but we're going to take a look at 10 good ones from Steven Spielberg and put a spotlight on this wonderful Hollywood director. Starting with 1997's Amistad. Amistad is a fantastic movie. Again, this is one of those movies that will piss you off and make you mad. Spielberg got a couple of these. This one came out in 1997. You got Anthony Hopkins, Morgan Freeman, Matthew McConaughey, and the list goes on and on. It's a great movie. It's about the slave ship, the Amistad, and how the slaves was treated in fighting for their freedom in a new land. A good movie, but a very emotional movie. Well acted, well done. Next up, we're going to take a look at 1993's Jurassic Park. This movie, like I said, in the Tim Talk Talkies Community Challenge, top 90s movies. This movie was not just important for the 90s, but this movie was important for movies in general. The advanced animatronics and I'm not even sure if it was CGI at that point, but the advanced animatronics that they used in this movie was revolutionary, groundbreaking, you name it. So we got 1993, you got Sam Neill, Laura Dane, and Jeff Goldblum. Fantastic movie, and this movie definitely paved the way for a lot of movies that came after it. A very, very important movie for cinema as a whole. Next up is another movie that's very important for movies as a whole, but this movie redefined its genre, war movies. So we have 1998's Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan. You got an all-star cast in here. Too many to really list, but we'll just go with the more notable ones. You got Tom Hanks. You got Tom Sizemore. You got Matt Damon, a young Vin Diesel. The talent in this movie is just incredible. And it made a lot of younger guys' careers. This movie really did. Launched quite a few careers. Great movie, sad ending. Just a really hard watch, especially if you was of that age, of you was in that generation who was, or if you fought in this war. There was several people who were still alive who went to go see this movie, or their parents was in that war, and it was just an emotional roller coaster ride. Steven Spielberg did a hell of a job with this movie. Next up, we're going to take a look at another one that don't get a lot of, it get love, but I don't know. This was a great movie, and I enjoyed the hell out of this one. It's Hook. Now, this didn't make my top 90s movies. It's not one of my top movies, but it's a great movie. Don't have to be a top movie to be a really good movie and an enjoyable watch. You got, let's see, you got Hook 1991, Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman, Julia Roberts. Great cast in this movie. Hook, phenomenal. I liked it. This was a very different, very unique take on Peter Pan. I enjoyed it a lot. Next up, this one is a hard watch. This one here is Schindler's List. Wow, whew, man. So Schindler's List came out in 1993, and you got Liam Neeson in this one and Ben Kingsley. What a movie! I mean, this movie, again, what the Jewish people went through in the Holocaust. I mean, again, watching this movie, I didn't know anything about the Holocaust until I saw this movie, but man, that was a tough watch right there. Those people went through a lot, man. That was a tough one. I mean, the Holocaust was no joke. If for anybody who tried to make fun or try to poke fun at that or try to downplay that in any way, that's not right, because those people went through hell. No doubt about that. Next up, we got 1982's E.T., starring Drew Barrymore. Fantastic movie. Definitely a movie that was, that just kind of spoke to the 80s. It spoke to when it came out. I was a kid when this came out. I wasn't even a teenager. I was a preteen. So this was the big buzz movie when I was a kid. E.T. E.T. Phone Home. You had video games. You had lunch bags, lunch boxes. You had the Trapper Keepers with E.T. on it. For those of you who are old school and know about Trapper Keepers, you know you had all the different designs. Movies would get their stuff put on them. Trapper Keepers was basically like your loose leaf notebooks, but they was real fancy ones. It was the fashion statement for when I was a kid. So E.T., big movie for my childhood. Next up, Indiana Jones. All the Indiana Jones. Now, Steven Spielberg, he did all of them. So that's something, because a lot of times a franchise will start with one director who might do one or two, and then you'll have different directors doing different movies in the franchise. Spielberg did every last one of the Indiana Jones movies. And I'm not going to say that's rare, but it don't happen as often as the other way, where you'll have the director who started it do one or two, and then somebody else will pick it up. Like Christopher Nolan with his Batmans. He did all of those. So, next up we got, okay, I'm sorry. So, Indiana Jones ran from 1981 all the way to 2008. That's how long it spans for Indiana Jones. So, we just cover all of that right there. Next up, we got Close Encounters. 1977 Close Encounters, starring Richard Dreyfuss. Next up, we have 1975's Jaws, starring Roy Schneider and Richard Dreyfuss. And his very first movie, 1971's Duel. This was a made-for-TV movie starring Dennis Weaver. Fantastic movie. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. Definitely. So that's the Hollywood Spotlight on Steven Spielberg. Hollywood Spotlight #1. Now, I'm going to give you guys something I don't normally do. I'm going to tell you guys the next one so you can look forward to the next ones. The next one, the very next one is going to be F. Gary Gray. We're going to do F. Gary Gray. We're going to do Ridley Scott. We're going to do Michael Bay, Martin Scorsese, Tony Scott, Quentin Tarantino, David Fincher. You didn't think I was going to forget David Fincher one. His movie is my favorite movie of all times. And then we're going to do John Singleton. And that's just to start the Hollywood Director Spotlight series. That's just the start. So that's something to give you guys something to look forward to. Those are the directors that are coming next in that order. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.